Hello everyone, and welcome to my review for Kengan Omega Chapter 129. Just a quick thing before I get into this week's review. Since I've started doing these reactions, I might be getting some new viewers since I haven't done Kengan reactions before. So if you're new to the channel, or if you're a longtime fan and you're not subscribed, you might as well. My subscriber goal for 2021 is hitting 5,000 by the end of the year. So any of you who are watching who are not subscribed, hitting that button would be a big help. So yeah, this week's chapter starts off with us checking on Muteba, which is important because last week's chapter ended off making it kind of ambiguous how Muteba was doing. We knew that he was going to try fighting Tiger Nico, and then the next thing we see, Tiger Nico is just kind of taking a leisurely walk around the Purgatory Arena, covered in someone else's blood. So that did not really bode well for Muteba. Either he was dead or he was injured. Fortunately, it's the latter. We do know that Muteba has good survival instincts. If he decides that something is an actual threat to his life, it's not really worth the pay. But it seems like in this case, Tiger Nico just kind of punched Muteba into a wall or something and then fucked off. So maybe Muteba got one-shotted. So kind of not a good look for Muteba, but at least he's not dead, so. Just goes to show that Tiger Nico is way above just about anyone in the series. I mean, Muteba's not weak. Muteba, I would say, is one of the stronger characters, but even he can't do shit to Tiger Nico, even when he's armed, even when he's got like a mild amount of prep time. My best sort of analysis would be Muteba doesn't know what to expect from Tiger Nico. A lot of Muteba's fighting style is based around knowing what his opponent can do. That was kind of a big thing in Waka's fight with strategy. Muteba's whole thing is strategizing around another person's fighting style. So if he can't do that, it's kind of fucked. And, I mean, against someone as high level as Tiger Nico, he'd be kind of screwed anyway. But he calls Itamitsu and tells him to not send anybody after Tiger Nico, because more people are just going to die. Now, what I think is going to happen later, because we don't see it this chapter, Tiger Nico is going to walk up to Eddie. We're going to see the results of Eddie versus Ryan. I'm assuming Ryan is going to have his teeth kicked in. So they'll meet up, and then Joji and Kureishi are going to appear, and they'll fight each other. Or Kuroki will appear, because we don't see Kuroki this chapter, which is interesting. Maybe we'll see him next chapter. We kind of need to have tabs on where Kuroki is, because Oma is the last person fighting. He's the last person Kuroki had a big fight against, and Kuroki has had commentary for the fights of all of the people that he had fights against during the Annihilation tournament. So we gotta see Kuroki at some point. That's gonna happen. Now, we go over to the Purgatory side, and Liu is just thinking about how this fucking sucks. And he's just really tired. He doesn't feel like he can go on, maybe doesn't deserve to go on, because he just lost like two of his best friends within hours of each other, and it turned out both of them were insane infiltrators from a murder brain cult. I guess actually a cyber brain cult. They were insane murderers who were pretending to be his friend, except for Nidon. Nidon, real bro, but Faye was pretending, so that kind of hurts. But fortunately, the rest of the Purgatory team is here. We see Toa, Jirota, and Falcon have returned to the fighters area, and they're giving words of encouragement for Liu. It's cool to see all of these guys again. Toa, just kind of neat to see again. I don't particularly care for him as a character. He's kind of a nothing burger, really. He's almost a non-character. He pretty much just existed to give Julius a hard fight. But it's cool to see him there, and him being, I would say, almost like patriotic for Purgatory. Jirota's cool to see again, because Jirota's awesome. He really, something about his aesthetic kind of adds to the lineup of the Purgatory team, so having him back is really good, and of course he's one of Purgatory's mainstays, so you gotta have him here for the finale. And Falcon is back, and Falcon is one of the few people who had wins that weren't just through Purgatory rules, so it's good to see him. Also, Falcon is just hilarious. Falcon is one of the best characters to come out of this whole tournament. So seeing him again here is just wonderful. Now, notably absent are Lutien, Yumigahama, Tarashi, and Nicholas. Obviously, Nicholas is in a coma. Tarashi's going to try and kill him. Who knows how that's going to go? Maybe he'll be stopped by Lutien and Yumigahama, since those guys were like the big trio when we were first getting introduced to Purgatory. And they're not here. Also, they were kind of the less good characters from Purgatory. There to save one of the best characters in Purgatory, so yeah, but it's cool to see the Purgatory team here. Also, it should be of note that Nitoku is here as well to cheer Liu up. I'm really interested in seeing how their blossoming friendship is developed, and it's nice to see that Liu has a new friend who's not an insane person, or pretending to be his friend. So that's just kind of neat. It's also interesting to see him over here, like on the Purgatory side. Just something about a Kengan fighter being over there is kind of neat. But it's time for the walkout. Lolong Donaire is taking the stage. With him taking up the rear, defeat is impossible. Now, we've got to talk about who has more loser flags here. To start, we should probably also address the Kengan side. Oma is getting encouraged by the people over there. Kazuo asks him about if he's going to go after Tiger Nico, and he says no. Obviously, he's baiting us. But also, Yamashita, the tournament's going on. Oma's match is right now. You can't have him just leave to go fight Tiger Nico. So that's something that's being set up for later. You've got several of the other the Kengan fighters encouraging him. You've got Koga saying he has to win. He has to come back so that he can beat him later. I mean, listen, Koga, the greatest martial arts prodigy of our generation, one day maybe he can beat Oma. But in the meantime, get the fuck out of here. Literally had his main character position stolen by the old MC, along with his position in the tournament. To be fair, if Koga actually was in the tournament and Oma wasn't, it would be like it'd be a free win for Purgatory, almost. So, they're cheering him on. Oma says that he feels like he's walking off to his death. Like they're cheering him on like he's going off to die or something, which is that seems almost so obvious that it becomes like an anti-death flag. Like, you can't make something... It's such obvious foreshadowing that it feels like it's saying it's not gonna happen. I don't know. Is Sandrovich really playing with us that much? Are there really this many dimensions to the chessboard he's on? But Yamashita gives some very encouraging words that I agree with wholeheartedly. Give us such a good fight that the machinations going on in the background don't matter. Give us a fight so good that the plot is unimportant. It's just fucking amazing. Give us the best fight of the tournament. And you know what? That's pretty much all I want from this. This entire tournament, we've been waiting to see what will happen with these two guys. Oma, the resurrected original main character, who's been training with the Kure clan for 2 years. So who knows, maybe if he's picked up Kure techniques or something. I know some people have suggested he has removal. I feel like if you tried to use removal and advance at the same time, even like normal advance, you would just explode like Faye did. So maybe not a good idea there. But he's healthy. It's Oma remembering everything and then having 2 more years of training, and he's in peak health. This isn't like when he fought Kuroki or Wakatsuki or Cosmo, where he was dying. This is Oma remembering everything, full health, and he's probably learned more. So this is Oma at the top of his game. He's unquestionably one of the strongest characters in the series. We know this. Now we just need to see how strong he is now. On the other side, we have Lolong, who has been hyped up since basically the start of the tournament. The end of the first round, he's referred to as the king. Then we get in round 2 him telling Yumi to fuck off, and pretty much everyone being like, oh, don't mess with Lolong. The entire tournament, we've been hyping up Lolong as the hottest shit ever. That he's a monster. That he's unbelievably strong. Even in this chapter, Nitoku suggests that he's stronger than Agito. Now, to be fair, maybe he's thinking of the Agito he fought, but then again, he's also been standing next to Agito for, like, several hours now, so I assume he'd be able to tell how strong Agito is currently. And Agito right now is top 3. So, Lolong, according to Nitoku, is stronger than that, maybe. So, Lolong has all of this build-up. Just ridiculous amounts of hype for him and how strong he is. This needs to live up to all of that. This needs to be the best fight of the tournament, at the very least. At the most, it needs to be the best fight in the tournament by a country mile. The best fight in the series. One of, at least. I doubt it'll ever beat something like Kuroki versus Agito, which I would posit is not just one of the best fights in Kengan, but is one of the best manga fights ever. It needs to be really good. It needs to be great. It needs to be fucking amazing. So, yeah, that's our setup for the Ashura Takeda Oma versus the Monster of Manila, Lolong Donaire. A little surprising that Lolong is not called the King or the King of Purgatory, but it's quite likely that this is Lolong's epithet from before he became the King of Purgatory, so, you know, he just still uses that. But a lot of people refer to him as the King. And now we need to remember that he was crowned the King in a tournament that happened like a couple years ago, so I'm hoping that during this fight we're going to see some flashbacks to who he fought during that tournament, because with Jiroda and Toa being back, those two I would put in like the top 5 for Purgatory fighters. Very strong. So having them give commentary on Lolong's strength, and likely Lolong beating them, I do find it was very likely that Lolong beat both of those guys during that tournament. Getting some kind of commentary on how he was able to overcome their martial arts, because Jiroda's judo and Toa's martial art have been directly compared to the Nico style, so Lolong's ability to overcome techniques like that will play a big factor in this fight. I also imagine the fact that he was just watching Faye use the Nico style for like the last 15-20 minutes right before this is going to play a big factor in this, because Lolong is going to understand how Oma's techniques work almost as soon as he starts using them. He's going to see him using them and he's going to be like, oh shit, that's what Faye was just doing. Okay, I understand how these work. Now, I could talk about possible theories for Lolong for a really long time. But I think I just decided that I'm going to do a dedicated video talking about Lolong. All my theories and predictions for his background, his fighting style, I feel like that'd be better to have as like kind of a separate thing, because, you know, there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to theorize. How is Lolong this powerful? And what can we expect from him? So, yeah. I'm very excited. I'm very excited to talk about that. I'm very excited to do that video. I'll probably have that out over the weekend if I don't end up being too busy. And I'm very excited for this fight. I have extremely high expectations for it, and I don't think it's unreasonable to. I feel like that is the most normal thing ever, to have very high expectations for the grand finale of a 1.5-year-long tournament between someone who we know is one of the strongest characters in the series and someone who we've been told is one of the strongest characters in the series. So, needless to say, I'm very hyped to see what happens. I hope you guys are too. Please be sure to share your thoughts and opinions on this chapter and your expectations for this fight in the comments. I'm very excited to read what you guys have to say. So with that, that's all I have to say for this week's review. If you enjoyed, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss any of my Kengan videos. If you enjoy discussing Kengan Omega with other people, or you just enjoy the content I produce on this channel, I highly suggest you check out my Discord server. I have linked that down in the description. And since it's the end of the video, it's time to give a shout out to my wonderful patrons. Special thanks to Fuse, Neo, Dijon Redden, Anthony Chavez, Honey Mustard, Zach Rowitz, K-God, Chris Redfield, Rat, Ryzen 4K, Artist, Mac Campaign, Wave of Manga, and Sam the Ace. Thank you all very much for supporting me on Patreon. I greatly appreciate it. And if you too want to get access to reviews for Solo Leveling and the Boxer, you can always become a patron as well. There's a link to my Patreon down in the description. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys around. Take care.